Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We're now delighted to be joined over the telephone by our guest for this afternoon, Dr. Ahmad Ellethy, the international economic expert. Dr. Ahmad, good afternoon to you, sir.
Good afternoon to you.
Thank you very much, Doctor, for joining us this afternoon. Let me start by asking you, how do you read the importance of the Ras Al Hikma project and specifically its timing?
Well, to start with, this is a huge investment. And I think it comes in the context of the strategy of the administration of President Sisi, where he is really trying to develop Egypt. I mean, before, Egypt used to take a lot of loans and a lot of support from our brothers in the Arabian Gulf, in Saudi, and the UAE. But now we're really getting a new strategic partnership with them and getting into real development. You know, it's almost a cliche now, the idea of, give me a fish and you fed me for the day, teach me how to fish and you fed me for every day. And we're a little bit on that angle, We're starting that sort of project that will take Egypt to its potential, especially on the tourism front. I mean, when we look at the numbers that Egypt are generating, around the 10, 12 million tourists, and you look at a country like Thailand or even France and you find that their numbers are almost 6 times that much. We clearly have a gap, and a part of it is that we have this huge opportunity for the Mediterranean coast, which is not really developed at all in a way to attract tourism. We have 3 or 4 hotels over there. They're all 5 stars. And if we look at countries in the same neighborhood or the Mediterranean coast, we find hundreds and hundreds of hotels in the touristic seaside. So there is a huge opportunity. That's from one angle. From another angle, we look at, besides the tourism, the urban development itself. The North Coast is very large, very user-friendly, if you want, place to live in. If we look at Algeria, if we look at Tunisia, if we look at all these neighboring countries, and Libya included, this is where they live. They live exactly in the same place and in the same region on the seaside. And we're not talking about tourism. We're talking about urban development for the whole year. Egypt still, despite that the President Sisi administration has doubled the surface of the land that the Egyptians are living on, we're still under 7% of land utilization. There is a huge opportunity for Egypt to evolve, develop its land, to reduce the crowdness and the pressure that we have on the capital, and to develop new urban centers, modern, partially to absorb the increase of population. We are increasing at a very high pace, almost 2 million, if I'm not mistaken, per year.
Yes.
So every year we're looking, every 10 years we're looking at 20 million. 20 million is a population that's almost equivalent to many countries. If we look at Europe, if we look at the region, I mean, even, big countries in the region are about 20, 25 million. Syria, Saudi Arabia, what have you. I mean, we are, every 10 years, we're creating a country in terms of people that equivalent to these countries. Where will they go? Where will they fit? So the idea is, and Egypt is not a small country, and this is the paradox that we had in the past, because if we were a small country, if we were tight, if we did not have enough space to go, we could understand the crowdness and the huge record of per capita or per square meter per capita that we have in Egypt, which is one of the highest in the world. But there is no reason for us to be so crowded. We have plenty of land, and it's very livable land. It's not like, mountains or forests or whatever. This is very livable land. It needs the basic infrastructure set up, and we're ready to go. So this is exactly what the presidency and the current administration are looking. From another, this is from the development angle and to tourism and income angle. To answer your second part, or the second part of your question,
Yes.
is about the timing.
The timing, yes.
Of course, it comes in the best timing because it is not a secret that Egypt, after going out of 2 or 3 major global economic crises, and that unfortunately fired back on us, despite that we have very little to do with the causes of these crises, but unfortunately we're paying the bill that is, resulting from these crises. So because of that, we are suffering, economically speaking. We have major scarcity in foreign currency, which is affecting almost every angle, from especially the Egyptian industry, and because many of the raw materials and the packaging materials that we need to produce most of our productions, unfortunately, are depending on importation. And when you are short of your foreign currency, which is key for any importation and to have any international business, your local production suffers. And if your local production suffers, your employment rate will go down. And if your employment rate will go down, your tax collection will go down, which will increase pressure again on the budget of the government and on the price of the currency. So to avoid to go into this downward spiral and endless loop, we need to break the cycle.
Absolutely.
This negative cycle, and the best way to do that is to have an FDI or a foreign direct investment into the economy. And what is better than having an injection with an amount that's almost equivalent to the total reserves in the Central Bank of Egypt, 35 million versus the total reserve of 35 billion. This is huge by any standard, by any measure. So obviously this is going to be a very strong booster shot to the Egyptian economy, hopefully to take it out of the current crisis that's going through.
Absolutely. Dr. Ahmad, now another question I wanted to speak to you about were the reactions of the international economic institutions with the signing of such a project. Does this project, contribute to attracting more foreign investments? Does it give more of a confidence boost to other countries as well to collaborate and invest in Egypt?
Of course it does. I mean, our brothers in the UAE are very shrewd businessmen. Their brothers, they love Egypt and Egypt loves them. This is very true on the emotional side. Yet, they're very, very good business people, and they have major analysts. And probably they have the best of the world, really. I mean, I've worked there for a period, and I work with them constantly on different occasions. They really, really know their stuff. It's not by accident that they're running, I think, close to 200 ports all across the world. All across the world. The fact that a city like Dubai is just generating some 60 million visitors a year, the fact that they have one of the fastest growing and the largest airports in the world, etc., etc. I mean, these things do not happen by accident.
Absolutely.
So they are, yes, they want to support Egypt, but this is not just support in the sense, a handout type of thing. No. This is a very well-studied business deal. They will make a lot of money. They invest, and they have this reputation, by the way. They are known to be very good business people all across the world. So with that, if they put that much money, and again, that amount of money is a lot of money, by any standard for anybody. So if they are willing to put that much money in Egypt, this will send a very positive signal to all investors. I mean, it sends a signal that Egypt is open for business. Basically.
Absolutely.
We're ready to welcome investors in all different dimensions and domains of investments. And I think it is a very strong certificate of attestation that the Egyptian economy is solid and we see the future of this market, whether for the internal consumption or for its ability to be able to bring tourism from overseas. So it's a very strong statement that they made, and numbers don't lie. You know, nobody's going to put $35 billion in a deal that he has not studied well and probably spent hundreds of millions of dollars to study, to understand the potential, to do a simulation, his calculation, and what sort of return on investment and the alternative opportunities, etc., etc. So it's a very well studied business deal by very shrewd business people.
Absolutely.
That will only be an attestation that Egypt is really open for business.
Absolutely. Right. I'd like to thank you very, very much, Dr. Ahmad Ellethy, our international economic expert. Thank you so much for your time.